Can you guess what today's video is about? Would you like some hints? It's a member of the allium family, commonly found in kitchens, and it's an essential ingredient in almost every dish. If dogs eat it, they can develop anemia and even die. It comes in 3 colors, and you can use it to sharpen your knife. Ancient Egyptians worshipped it, and it can counteract the venom of a bee sting. Some say its oil is the secret to luscious Indian hair. Have you guessed it yet, or should I keep going? Consuming it raw can lower blood sugar and pressure, and it cleanses the air. It aids in the prevention and treatment of infections, boosts the immune system, and the most important benefit is its potential to prevent cancer, improve sleep patterns, help alleviate symptoms of depression, and significantly reduce menopausal symptoms. In short, it's said to be good for any ailment you can think of. Well, if you haven't guessed yet, here's the final clue. It's sharp, pungent, and can make anyone cry. Alright, I think by now everyone has figured out that we're talking about none other than the famous onion. Do you really have any dishes without onions? If you do, please write it in the comments. Onions have gained a significant place in our kitchens considering their importance and constant use. Therefore, it's vital to have good and comprehensive knowledge about them. Who should eat them? Who should avoid them? And are there any potential risks associated with onions? Let's dive into the do's and don'ts of onions.
For sure. Stay with us until the end of this video, and make sure to share the video with your loved ones who use onions every day. The interesting and practical tips in this video can be helpful for them and assist them, and by liking, commenting, and subscribing to our channel, you're supporting us, for which we're very grateful. When we go to buy onions, there are usually 3 common types of onions in vegetable stores. First, there are yellow onions that have white flesh but brown skin. Due to their strong and sharp taste, they are more suitable for cooking. The next type is white onions or sweet onions, which have white skin and are juicier and milder than yellow onions. If you like raw onions but don't want them to be too strong, this is a good option. Chefs mostly use this type of onion for frying. And the third type is red onions, which are similar in taste and aroma to yellow onions, but sweeter and juicier. However, they are not as delicate as white onions. This type of onion is more popular for sandwiches, salads, and raw dishes. Be careful when choosing onions, and don't buy onions that are too large or too small because homemakers need onions of different sizes. For example, if the onion is too large, the lady has to use only half of it, and when half of it is left for later, it's not very convenient, and it absorbs bacteria. When buying onions, pay close attention to selecting clean onions with intact skin, and there shouldn't be any sign of sprouting on them. It's also good to know that according to traditional medicine, onions have a warm and dry temperament, and the more pungent the onion is, the hotter and more warming it is. Well, thanks for the shopping. Let's go home now. Now it's your turn, dear homemaker. When you bring the onions home, try to keep the onions and potatoes separated because potatoes release moisture and ethylene gas, which can cause onions to spoil or sprout. And be sure to keep your onions in a dry and low-light place to prevent sprouting. If you have a large quantity of onions that exceeds your consumption, be sure to put them in a mesh bag and store them in a dry place. And the worst way to store fried onions is to store them in the refrigerator. If they are too small, you can use pickled onions. Alright, let's cook some food and it's time to eat. You can chop the onions, which is an old and popular method, and it works great for all kinds of meat and rice dishes. For this method, make sure to completely separate the root part of the onion. But these days, the chopped form is more common and used more in cooking, but if you want to make kebabs or fry onions, I recommend using ground onions to avoid the sound of children crying. But if you want to make soup, don't eat the onions at all. Just throw them, even the root part, into cold water, first in your soup. By the way, I should also mention that you should never eat onions with the best knife you have, because onions can quickly dull the blade of your knife, just like a flintstone. Before that, I should also tell you what to do so that this attractive, spicy onion doesn't bother us and doesn't make us cry. We have several excellent solutions for that. Pour some vinegar on your cutting board. The acid in the vinegar partially deactivates the enzymes present in the onion, which reduces the tear-inducing effect. Soak the onion in salt water before chopping. However, be careful as this may slightly change the taste of the onion. You can also try placing a few matchsticks in your mouth while eating onions. Chopping the onion under running water is another solution that homemakers use. But what about the method that Dr. Light uses? Well, the choice of a larger space, preferably an open space if possible, or next to a window is the method Dr. Light uses.
Now it's time to talk about who should avoid onions. The reasons for avoiding onions include the following. If a woman has a nosebleed during her menstrual period, it is better for her to avoid consuming onions during that time because onions can worsen and prolong nosebleed. Pregnant women should not consume excessive amounts of raw onions, especially during the first trimester, as it may cause nosebleeds, particularly if there is a history of miscarriage. Breastfeeding mothers, especially during the first 40 days, are advised to limit their onion consumption due to onions' pungent odor, which may make their breast milk less appealing to the baby. If you suffer from conditions such as severe blood sugar or blood pressure drops, it is advisable not to excessively consume raw onions as they can further decrease your blood sugar and blood pressure levels. Did you know that fried onions can be harmful to fatty liver and may even contribute to the development of fatty liver? So, if you have fatty liver or gallbladder problems, I recommend avoiding fried onions altogether, as they can act like a toxin on your liver and increase the pressure on your liver multiple times.
I hope this information has been helpful to you. If you liked the video, I would appreciate it if you didn't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video with your friends. Thank you for your warm companionship. Goodbye and have a great day.